Good morning. I am so excited to be here this morning on the Yoga Celebrity podcast, being streamed live right now on Instagram. I'm meeting today with a woman named Fruity Ava, and she is an incredible fruitarian that's going to talk to us about how she became a fruitarian and how to integrate fruits into your diet and how to eat more raw foods. So I'm super excited. I'm gonna bring her on right now. Just waiting for her to accept the invite.
Hi, how are you?
Hello. I'm great. How are you? Good morning.
Yeah, so I'm on the Canary Island and it's 5 p.m. right now.
Oh, that's where you stop off there when you're crossing the Atlantic by sailboat.
Right.
Yeah, I have a sailboat. So
I think last year I was at the beach and there were so many sailboats and I was like, wow, why are there so many sailboats? And a friend said that they stop and then they go across the ocean. I'm like, no, this cannot be. But it's true. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's a big stopping point for sailing. Yeah. So anyhow, I'm super excited to have you here today talking about fruitarianism and your journey to eat more fruits and vegetables and raw veganism, and how that developed in your life, and your new book that's in the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. The Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle is available until midnight on November 1st. It has over 50 books for $50, and it has my new book in it, Raw Yoga Retreat, where you can host your own yoga retreat in your home. And it has Fruity Ava's new book as well. You can also find her on YouTube, and you're on
for
YouTube
sure.
and
It's
Instagram,
always
right?
Fruity Eva.
Awesome. So tell us, how did you start doing this? What's your journey? How did you come to being a raw vegan? And are you just fruitarian? Do you eat
Love to. I
vegetables
think
too?
it's a
Tell us
great question. So I started, it was super slow because I first went vegetarian when I was 12 for the animals because I saw some videos about how animals are treated in factory farming. And I was like, I cannot support this anymore because it was just too cruel. But I didn't know really what goes behind in the dairy industry or egg industry. So I still ate dairy and eggs. And there's so many myths around veganism. So I was not vegan. And then with 15, again, I watched videos on YouTube and I saw the truth behind the egg industry and the dairy industry and why it's actually super beneficial to eat plant-based and how it can improve your health and how you can, yeah, just avoid of cruelty. So I turned vegan when I was 15 and I knew back then about the raw vegan diet or vegetarian diet, but I was thinking it's not possible, it's too expensive, it's not healthy. So I knew about it for 1 or 2 years, but I never wanted to try it because I thought it's not possible. But then I saw a video from Fully Raw Christina, maybe you know her. And yeah, and for me, it
I
was like,
do. Yeah.
okay, it works for her. But then in one video, she showed a friend, and the friend completely looked normal. And she said, yes, and my friend, he's also raw vegan for many, many years. And for me, something shifted because from that moment on, I was just doing a lot of research because now I was thinking, okay, it does not only work for Fully Raw Christina, but it can also work for a lot of other people. And that was really the moment when I tried. So with 17, I was like, okay, I just want to try it. And I tried it for 1 week. I felt so good, like eating just fruit and vegetables. I had so much energy. So I was like, this is it. It makes completely sense. And I read the book, The 80-10-10 Diet, very early on. And I really liked this book. Made complete sense to me. And from that moment on, I'm fruit-based. But I still eat, for example, frozen fruit and vegetables and or pasteurized fruit and vegetables, things like that. But yeah, I'm just fruit based, mostly raw vegan, and that's really how I eat, and I really love to eat that way. Oh, I cannot hear you. Ah,
Sorry, I had my mute on. There's a little bit of background noise where I am, and I didn't want to disrupt you. I had the mute on, that's why you couldn't hear me. Sorry, apologize. So that's really awesome. It's your journey is very interesting and parallels mine in the way that I
Oh,
became a
nice.
vegetarian when I was 11. But that was 35 years ago, and there was no YouTube then. So, but I was curious to know, do you find that it's difficult or more easy for you to source fresh fruits and
That's a great
vegetables
question.
on an
I
island?
think it's actually a lot easier. Like it depends. And on the Canary Islands, we don't have that much variety, but we have very good quality. So, for example, papaya, the bananas, or the zucchini, etc., all of that is grown on the island. So it's really, if you compare it to the quality of fruit and vegetables in Germany, because I'm originally from Germany, it's really like a whole world of a difference. And I think now with the years, and because of globalization, etc., it will get easier to have also more variety on the island because a lot is shipped from, for example, Europe or Spain. But for example, we don't really have on the Canary Islands a lot of food that is shipped from Asia or South America. That's not really what is available here. Yeah.
Yeah, as a sailor, as
Yeah.
someone who has a sailboat, I know that islands can be very hard to find fresh fruits and
Yeah.
vegetables, particularly like in the Bahamas. It's there's not very many, and then when you do find them, they're very expensive. I noticed when I was working in Costa Rica that the most of the people who actually lived there, they didn't eat the fruits and vegetables that were available to them, and I was kind of shocked, like, because there was such a wide variety of incredible fresh fruits and vegetables just growing everywhere, and people chose to eat processed foods, like really highly
I
processed foods.
agree
It was
so much.
kind of
Like when we
shocking
look
to
at
me.
Asia, for example, they would have the best fruit, like champadak, durian, etc. Really the best fruit, but people don't eat it. They choose fast food, and it's so sad because they would have the best opportunity to eat really healthy, but with like I think probably it's a downside of globalization with the rise of McDonald's and fast food chains that they now come to developing countries or it comes to Asia or South America, and it's so sad. It's really, really sad.
Yeah, it's really sad because they're like, when I would do yoga teacher trainings in Costa Rica a couple times a year, and when I would go down there and do them, every morning I would make like incredible smoothies. I would bring my Vitamix with me on the plane, and I would make these amazing smoothies from the great fruits and vegetables that
Yeah.
were available in Costa Rica. Someone asked in the comments which fruits or vegetables provide the most zinc. And interestingly enough, in the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle, there's a book called Alive by a man named Nate, and his handle on Instagram is Nice Cream King. And one of the highest forms of zinc that you can get from fruits and vegetables from sprouted lentils. So if you get the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle, you can get Nate's book Alive, and in that book he teaches you how to create sprouts at home. It's actually pretty easy, and he provides websites that you can go and get sprouting grains and sprouting beans and ways to make your own sprouts at home. So if you are interested in bringing more zinc into your life, then definitely check out the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. You can get it from the link in my bio or the link in Fruity Ava's bio, or you can go to bit.ly/raw yoga retreat. Another question that someone had was, do you eat over 2,000 calories today or a day? I actually do. When I eat, I do intuitive eating, so I don't count calories anymore at all. I have found that diet culture is very toxic for me. From years of yo-yoing and always being on a diet and always like being worried about that. And I'm almost 50 now, and I just I don't want to worry about that anymore. Like that's just not something that I want to be a part of my life anymore. I don't want to be part of like constantly worrying about everything that goes into my mouth. It makes me very unhappy. My mom died at 61, and I want to have a healthy, full, happy life that isn't constantly riddled with worry about how I look. And for me, calories are really connected to how I look. So that's why I don't count calories. But I don't know about you, Fruity Ava. So can you share with us if you eat more than 2,000
Sure,
calories
that's
a
a
day
great
or
question.
your
And
thoughts
before
about
I
that?
want to get into that question, I want to say you do not look like 50. Like I would have said 30 or 32 or something, but crazy. That's what fruit and vegetables can do. So yeah, pretty cool. And I don't really count calories because I also eat really intuitive. And that's something that I think a raw diet or fruit-based diet gives you, that you have the chance to really eat as much as you want and as much as you feel satisfied, and that's really it. But I definitely have to say that it takes time to learn that, and it takes time to get used to fruit and vegetables, because for me it's over 4.5 years, and the first month or maybe even the first year I definitely had to make sure that I get in enough calories, because when you come from a standard diet, what you eat is really little portions but with huge calories. For example, if you look at a burger, it is like this big, but it has around 500 calories. And if you want to eat 500 calories from fruit and vegetables, then you have to eat really like this much. So you really have to learn how to eat enough and how to schedule it, especially because I started it when I went to school and then later went to university. And sometimes it's really stressful if you work also. So you really have to make sure to learn how to eat enough. A great app that I recommend for beginners is Chronometer. It's really a cool app where you can count calories. But now, like, I don't know, like I just eat when I'm hungry. And I think I eat 2,000 calories easily. But it depends a lot it really depends on my monthly cycle. Before I get my period, I eat a lot. When I have my period, I don't eat much. So it really depends. It also depends if I exercise. For example, if I exercise in the evening, then I wake up and I'm hungry and I just eat a lot more. So it really depends. But for me, eating a fruit-based diet or a vegan diet definitely helped me to find like peace and freedom in food. Yeah.
Yeah, I find that I agree with you on that. I find that eating more fruits and vegetables makes me more peaceful, makes me more calm. I have less anxiety. And from a scientific viewpoint, it actually affects our
Yeah.
microbiome very positively to eat fruits and vegetables. And our microbiome controls our serotonin. So it controls our depression levels. So when I often I see people who are struggling with depression, and I struggled with depression when I was younger. I came from a very traumatic home experience and had to do a lot of self work to transform myself. And for about 10 years, I was on Zoloft, which is an antidepressant, when I worked in corporate. But my diet was also very bad. And when I lost my job in 2008 during the recession here in the United States, and I started teaching yoga. And I had been a vegetarian since I was 11, but like you, I was very much a cheese, egg, pasta vegetarian. And when I would really a junk food vegetarian. So when I got my yoga teaching certification back in 2005, I thought, well, you know what, why I'm getting this certification, I'm going to go vegan. Because that wasn't something that was really like a big thing, like 35 years ago, people were not
Yeah.
vegan. That was not, no one ever talked about that. I didn't even know that was a term until much later in life. Um, and there was no
Mhm.
internet then. There was no internet until I graduated college. So anyhow, if you could imagine that. But so I decided to do vegan for the 3 months that I was in yoga teacher training, and it was really phenomenal. But I didn't feel like I could maintain it working my job. Well, when I lost my job in 2008, I went vegan again, and I didn't have health insurance anymore, so I couldn't buy my antidepressants. But suddenly, I didn't feel so depressed because I was putting nutritious foods in my body and taking care of myself, meditating, practicing yoga every day, eating a humongous salad every single day, which I had never done before because that wasn't really available to it, with like really good vegetables. You know, for me, I find that I really like to have my salads very finely chopped. Like I need a lot of tiny really tiny chopped.
Yeah,
I like almost like a slaw. Like I really like it. Like I like my lettuce like really tiny. But when you find that, you know, that when you find that you what you like, then you can just keep eating that. And it's about for me, it's about having like go-to meals, and like you said about prepping and having things prepared ahead of time. You know, what I'll do is I'll buy all my salad stuff and then I prepare 4 at once. I eat one and then put 3 in containers
me
that I
too.
then eat the next 3 days. And then that's how I prep
That's
salads.
amazing. Like, I
But yeah.
fully agree that what you eat, there's a huge connection between what you eat and your mindset or your well-being. Because, of course, like, I love therapy and I love how like thinking positively and all of that. But definitely I feel the difference if I eat before when I was not vegan, I was eating really like a lot of dairy, a lot of junk food, and I did not feel the way that I feel now. And it's a huge difference. And I think it's also when you eat more junk food or more animal products, you have a lot more like toxins in your body and it weighs you down. So when you start to eat fruit and vegetables, you really have a lot more energy and a lot more, yeah, well-being. So I definitely notice it as well. Definitely.
So someone said I lost period on a healthy vegan diet, but gained it back when eating more fruits and raw food. But I worry about micronutrient needs and question how much fat I need. I don't want to lose period. I would say that Ava and I are not registered dietitians. We are only speaking from our own, we're not nutritionists. We're only speaking from our own experience. And our experience is limited to what we have. I'm a yoga teacher. I have a degree in English literature and a degree in women's studies. I would not feel that I am qualified to tell you what your individual nutrient needs are. If that is something that's crucial and important to you, there are a lot of holistic doctors and holistic nutritionists and neuropaths available to you. I would, my friend Elizabeth, if you want to send me a DM, I can send you her information. Your name is Hill Cassia. I can send you her information. She is a certified nutritionist in veganism, and she can definitely help you make sure that you're getting your nutritional needs if you're looking for a referral. But we're not medical practitioners, and we're not educated in your exact individual needs. We can only speak from our experience on this planet of how this has affected our individual bodies. But each of us are very different, and how we process foods and how our microbiome works and how each of us individually are going to react to things. And a lot of it, and I don't know about your experience, I assume, Ava, that this is the same, but a lot of it for me has been
Yes.
trial and error, like trying new things and being like, oh, this works, or this feels good with my body. And yoga really taught me about connection with my body and how I feel. So like certain things make me feel good. Like I found that overripe tomatoes hurt my stomach. But I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't have done some testing with my own body. But we are so varied individually from body to body. My genetic makeup, what I put into my body, my external influences, the pollutants that are around me, they all go in to form what I can eat comfortably and when I cannot eat comfortably. And so I can't speak for anyone else. I can only speak for me, but I do know that there's an incredible amount of research and there's an incredible amount of people that believe in a fruit-based or a vegan diet and how that has helped to transform their lives. And I do know that in my own family, I'm far more healthy than anyone else in my family. And I'm the only one that has eaten a primarily vegetarian diet for 35 years. So
I
anyhow,
agree
Ava,
with
your
that. So
thoughts?
I can just share my experience. For example, with my period, I never lost my period. But when I was talking with friends who also went raw vegan or fruit-based or vegan, a lot of times the reason why they lost their period was either because of huge emotional stress. For example, they had like someone died and it was just really weighing them down. But another really like a big reason that is more common is when people go to a raw vegan diet, usually they undereat because they have not spent enough time to learn how to eat more calories from fruit because it is a huge shift. So usually those people undereat, and what happens is that the body is like, I don't have I want to store all the energy to keep the body functioning, and that's why a lot of people lose their period. And when they start to eat more fat or more calories in general, and the thing with fat is just that fat has more calories, so you need to eat less fat and have the same energy or the same calories as if you would have if you would eat more fruit. So when people eat more calories and more fruit, that can really help for them to get back their period. But that's just one, as you said, that's just one example that could help, but it does not necessarily has to help you. Yes.
Yeah. Calorie density is something that I mean, was always there, but I really never thought about until recently. I started following a few years ago High
Yeah,
Carb
no,
Hannah. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she lives in Arizona. We're currently in Arizona. We spend a lot of time in Arizona, so I kind of resonated with her desert vibe. But she talks a lot about calorie density and how fruits and vegetables have a higher calorie density, and that's from something called, there's a
mhm.
book called The Starch Solution, and Dr. McDougall, and he talks about how fruits and vegetables and legumes and that they that the carbohydrates are really what give us the high quality energy that's sustainable and lasting, and that's how we can truly find a lot of weight loss. And I know that she's lost 70 pounds on that diet. I did the starch solution, and yeah, I'm sorry, I did have that backwards. That the fats and meats have a high calorie density, and the vegetables and fruits have a low calorie density. Calorie density. Um, Anyhow, that I did that starch solution diet, and I did lose like 35 pounds on that. So and I've been able to keep it off. So it is definitely fruits and vegetables
I
have definitely helped me a lot. But yeah, it's just something I never thought about how like fats have so many more like, you know, that like a tablespoon of oil is like 110 calories. Like I never even,
huge,
I just didn't
yes, for
like really
sure.
think
And I
about it.
think that's why it's so simple to, yeah, just have a like a strong body or an ideal body weight if you go fruitarian, raw vegan, fruit based, because yeah, you can just eat a lot. And the thing is, if you keep it low fat, if you don't overeat on nuts or seeds, it's really simple. And I think because I work online, I study online, and so I spend a lot of time in front of the computer. And I think if I would be on a standard American diet, I would I would have like be overweight for sure. So I think if you eat fruit based, it's just so easy, really easy.
Yeah, I think I I agree with what you're saying, that you know, like you can have, we have this ideology, especially for women, that we have to restrict everything. We have to restrict what we're eating. We have to not indulge, not experience joy, not allow ourselves to have happiness through food. And I think that that has then created these stifled experiences for, particularly for women, and that we're spending, we have such a
Yeah.
precious small amount of time on this planet, and we're spending so much of it wrapped up in what we look like, and this physical meat suit that we're wearing that really has nothing to do with the
Yes.
stardust energy that we are. You know, like this is just the vessel that I'm wearing to have this experience on the planet. So for me, it has been a mistake to put so much concern on the way I look. And when I became nomadic, when I stopped living in a city and started living in a camper or living on the sailboat, the people that I was around no longer were worried about what I looked like every day. It didn't matter if I don't even wear makeup. If I wore makeup or if I dressed fancy, I mean, I wear the same clothes pretty much every day because it, what I get out of life isn't based on what I look like. It's based on how I feel. And I know that eating more raw fruits and vegetables, I'm not 100% raw. I'm raw for breakfast and for lunch usually, but not always because my husband isn't. So we, there's a family thing. But I'm vegan all the time. And, but I found that eating more fruits and vegetables helps my digestion. I've lowered my blood pressure. And I just have a happier, more positive experience life. But I think it would be a real mistake to spend our whole lives focused on what does our body look like and not how am
I
I
agree so much.
experiencing
I
this
think we
planet.
have, like, that's at least what I had to do to really shift away from the way that I look towards how can I improve my health? How can I improve my vitality? And when you eat more fruits and vegetables, you can really have more health. You have more vitality, more energy. And that's so true because I believe it does not really matter how you look like, because you can have like in the eyes of society, a very beautiful body, but you can be miserable if you don't learn about therapy, if you don't learn about trauma healing and all of that, if you don't enjoy your life, if you don't know about positive thinking. So I love that so much because there's so much so much attention on how you look. And the more important question, I think for sure, is more how can I have a better life experience? I agree.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. Someone has asked in the comments if it's common to just crave fruit, and I think the for me and from my experience and from having an incredible amount of fruitarian and raw vegan friends, that they're not every person is different, right? So every person and what they're going to crave is different, and it's going to be different based on the different time of day and where you're at in life. Like I'm in perimenopause as I'm moving into the other stages of my life. So, how I experience this planet and how my body experiences it is going to be very different. And there are certainly people that are very fruit-based. Healthy Dynamic Life is someone I know. She's on, that's my friend Lexi. She's on Instagram. She is also in the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. She has a fantastic book about mindset and fruitarianism that is in the bundle. You'll get that if you get the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. And I know that Fruity Ava, she is a fruitarian primarily, and so she's another great resource for that as well. But do you want
Yes,
to
for
talk
sure.
about
So
craving?
actually, I eat more, like, I also eat vegetables. So I eat vegetables and leafy greens. And for me, I notice it, especially if I eat very sweet fruits such as bananas, dates, and all of that, that I want to have savory food as well. So for me, I don't really crave all the time fruit. But maybe it depends. If you, for example, live in Asia and you have access to delicious fruit, then maybe it's enough. But in the Canary Islands, it's more like European food. So like fruits and vegetables such as apples, bananas, and for me, I crave salad. So, but I would say like really feel what works best for you. Um, yeah, and yeah, I think that's a great. Another great question that someone was asking before was if it is normal if you stay up too late or if you cannot sleep if you are on a fruit-based diet. And my experience with that, I had it, but it was always because I was under eating. I was not eating enough calories, and so my body was like having a lot of energy at night because my body was like, do you give me food or what is happening? And sometimes we don't notice that we undereat because a very strange thing that happens when you go fruit-based is that your hunger sensation changes. So instead of feeling it in your belly, a lot of people start to feel it, and this happened to me also, they feel it in your throat. And so when you're new to a raw vegan diet, and you don't know about it, you don't really know that you undereat on calories. So if you feel that if you cannot sleep, then I would recommend to eat more like fat if it helps you for the transitioning. So maybe more fat and more calories. And this always helps me to really calm down. So maybe you want to have a salad with more fats, and so that you're more grounded and satiated. Yes.
Well, that's really interesting, Ava. I didn't know that, but it totally makes sense because I've done a number of juice cleanses throughout my life. It's like kind of a thing in the yoga community. It's very connected, and one of the things that when you get them from like this juice standard, like there's a place in Las Vegas that I buy them. I've made them myself. But when you buy them from the place, the last juice of the day is actually a nut milk. So it's funny that you would say that because it's fats and then it helps you sleep. I didn't even think about that. But sometimes in the afternoon, if I'm feeling like a little bit slow or not having energy, I'll have like coconut milk with
Yeah.
matcha. And I use the little like steamer machine to spin them together, and then I have like a matcha coconut milk latte.
Yeah, it makes sense because when I was a child, I was drinking like dairy milk in the evening when I couldn't sleep, and it was just for the calories and the fat density. So I think that's definitely one advice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I also love. Someone commented that they love juicing. I also love juicing. There's like nothing so delicious as a raw green drink. So you've a lot of people on here probably don't know this, but there was a man named Jack Lalanne, and Jack Lalanne he's really the reason we're here right now and the reason we're talking about juicing. He was the very first person to have an exercise show on television. And Jack Lalanne was primarily vegan. He ate a tiny bit of fish, but he was primarily vegan. And he was known as like a strong man. He was like, he would do competitions against Arnold
Whoa.
Schwarzenegger when he was young. And one time Jack Lalanne like pulled a bunch of tugboats, like he like swam with a tugboat behind him, and he would go to California to the beach, and he would do all the exercises on Muscle Beach and stuff, and he was just known as like a bodybuilder, and he was primarily vegan. I mean, he was like 99% vegan, and he has a book where he talks about that. But he got really famous in his later years because he created the Jack Lalanne juicer, and he was a big fan of juicing, and he would juice every single day. And he would do these infomercials. This was before the internet. He would do these infomercials on television late at night, and you would watch him just talking about fruits and vegetables and how excited he was to make fruits and vegetables. And so my first juicer was a Jack Lalanne juicer. I don't think they even make them anymore. But if you are not familiar with Jack Lalanne, he is an incredible person, and so many people who are in fact, any fitness influencer now owes their
Cool.
career to Jack Lalanne because he really paved the pathway for everyone who teaches fitness in a visual way on YouTube or Instagram or on television. He was the very first person that did it. So his book is really phenomenal. It's old, but if you type into, I don't think you can even buy the book anymore. So, but if you type into Google Jack Lalanne book PDF, you can actually download the PDF. I have it, and let me see if I can find it here in my iPad. Well, I can't remember what it's called, but
Well, what's his name
like
again? Jack? Okay.
here, I'll type it. I'll type it
I
in here.
didn't
His
know,
name is
like, I
Jack.
never heard of him, but it sounds super interesting.
Yeah, he is a really, really fascinating man, and he had a real positive attitude about life.
Jack Lennon.
And yes, live young forever.
Cool.
Here it is, right here.
Cool. Yeah, I think actually a lot of knowledge that is now out there about a vegan diet, it already existed, but it was forgotten because like other Like for example, like the fruit is healthy. Like there's some books. I don't know if you have read Arnold Ehret's books about the mucoside healing system. It's really interesting because it talks about the connection between disease and fruit, and it was written, I think, over 100 years ago. So it's really interesting how a lot of knowledge already existed, but people forgot about it. So yeah, really interesting.
Yeah, yeah. There was a guy who was selling his juicer back, like just after the Depression, and he was selling it in Los Angeles, and it became like he would sell his fresh juices, and it became very popular, and all these people came to him for the health benefits of his fresh juices. Well, they passed here, I think it was in San Francisco, they passed a law that said that all juices had to be pasteurized because um, the government felt that people were getting sick from non-pasteurized juices. So he moved to Sedona, Arizona, and really created the like new age
Cool.
movement in Sedona by doing his juices and everything there and moving his machine there. I
Cool.
actually
It's
wrote a
super,
book on
super cool.
juicing, and I have like the whole history of juicing and how it happened and all of that. Because I just find it like super, like I'm really passionate about juicing. I think it can do a lot of amazing things for you. The longest juice cleanse I've been on is 11 days, but my nails were so long and my hair was so vibrant and my skin felt great. I had so much energy because digestion takes up so much energy. And so after you eat a big protein filled meal of like meats or fats, we feel exhausted and tired, and that's our body like working overtime to digest that, and our liver like just busting its ass to try and make like this stuff get through our body, all these toxins, and clean it all out. But after you eat a humongous salad, and I mean I eat salads, where is my salad bowl? I will show you. It's so huge. I eat these huge salads. I never feel like I have to take a nap. I never feel like, oh, I'm just going to grab my salad bowl. I never feel like, oh my gosh, I have to take a nap. This is my salad
Cool.
bowl. Look at this.
Cool.
It's so big.
Yeah,
It's
me
bigger
too.
than
I
my
love to
head.
eat like a lot of salads, fruit salads. Because it's cool because all my life, when I was a child, I always wanted to eat, like, oh God, can I eat? I want to eat as much as I want, and I want to eat as much sweets as I want, and I want to eat as much as I want. And now on a fruit-based diet, you can really do it because you can eat like huge salads, super delicious. You can just eat so much, and I like it so much. Really grateful for that. Yeah.
Someone asked if I got a headache in juicing only in the beginning. I didn't because I drink about a gallon of water a day. It's really crucial to drink a lot of water. I spend my life
Mm.
primarily in the desert, so and the it's really dry. So I make a dedication to drinking um, a lot of water. And then someone else asked, oh, they talked about the picture. So I do want to mention this because this is really cool. So this is actually like, this is my favorite thing that I have in the world. This is a picture. It's a painting. It's actually really large. It doesn't look large from this distance, but there's like a refrigerator in between. But this painting was made by a man in Cambodia, a local man at Angkor Wat. If you're familiar with Angkor Wat is one of the three like energy temples. There's Angkor Wat, the pyramids of Giza, and Chichen Itza, and they're all on a pyramid in the world, and they're places of high vibrational spiritual energy. So this was painted there, and these people that are in the picture, they're the bodhisattva. And in yogic tradition, in Buddhist tradition, in yogic tradition, there are 8 steps to reach enlightenment. And once you reach enlightenment at the 8th step, then you become a bodhisattva or an enlightened one. And so this is a painting of them at Angkor Wat in Cambodia. So it's like my favorite thing that I have. So someone mentioned it, and I
Cool.
really wanted to talk about it. Um, so said, any suggestions if I can't handle eating such a big salad as all the rawtarians? So go
I
ahead
would
with
simply
that,
say you
Ava.
don't have to. Like in the beginning, it's really hard to eat so much. So what I recommend is to just make smaller portions and eat more often during the day. And over the time, over the years, when your body gets used to eating more food, you can just eat 3 meals a day with more like bigger portions. Or sometimes if I eat a lot for one meal, I just eat 2 meals a day or 3 meals a day and it gets easier. But in the beginning, if it's not possible for you, then just eat smaller portions. So very simple. That's what I did and what really helped me. Yeah,
I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about your book and
for
about
sure.
what you
So,
wrote in your book.
as part of the Raw Vegan Bundle, which is such a great opportunity, I wanted to write a book that is more for beginners because I have a lot of like clients or coaching clients who never tried a raw vegan diet and they feel a little bit overwhelmed with the dehydrating or food processor and all of that. So I wanted to give them a book with very, very simple recipes, and you just need a blender and a cutting board and a knife, and that's it. And you just need a few ingredients. And if you live in the United States or if you live in Europe, you very probably have all of the ingredients already in your kitchen. And yeah, that's why I created this book to really show people, hey, it's really easy. Like, no matter, even a lot of the recipes are quite cheap. So, because it's, for example, I have a lot of recipes based with bananas or with bananas, and you can get bananas quite cheap and very, or within a lot of places. So, yeah, I just wanted to create a recipe ebook for beginners so that people have an easy transitioning to a raw vegan diet.
I love the approachable nature of your book and how it allows people to do this in a very simplistic and way that makes it so approachable for people, because if people feel overwhelmed in transition, and I know this, like I felt really overwhelmed too, and there was no support. Like no one in my family was a vegetarian, let alone a vegan, and let alone a raw vegan. And it wasn't until I met Lissa, Raw Food Romance, that I started to see like more complex raw recipes. But having the ability to just like eat like say 5 peaches and have what they call a mono meal, which is just one kind of fruit, and being like that's okay to just eat one kind of fruit, that's an acceptable meal. And I didn't really know that. I feel like you should know that. Like you should we should feel empowered to decide for our lives. Like I can have whatever I want. If I want to just eat 10 slices of bread and that be my meal, I can do that. But we feel like we need some kind of permission to do anything, and that's like ridiculous. Like we should just do whatever we want. It's our lives, eat whatever you want. And but but it's nice to when I can see a book like yours that's not filled with complex recipes, but very easy to do, very simple, very easy to integrate recipes that gives me permission to make them and eat, but and still stay on the raw food diet. Someone asked, do you exercise? And yes, actually, I have been teaching yoga for 16 years. I am a yoga teacher. I have been practicing yoga for 35 years. I run online yoga teacher trainings one-on-one where I work with people individually to become certified to teach yoga and to create a business plan so that they can make enough money to sustain themselves as a yoga teacher and continue to spread the knowledge and wisdom that they have. So yes, I do exercise. I've also run 16 half
Yeah.
marathons and 2 full marathons. I have not been running for a while. I don't run anymore because I have plantar fasciitis, which is like it's from a tightness in my calves, and so sometimes it's hard to walk. But but yoga really helps with that. So I do exercise. I wouldn't say that I do. I try to take a 30-minute walk every day with my dog. He's taking a nap right now.
Oh,
There
so
he is.
cute. I love those.
He's that's Dean Martin, my dog. We call him Dino. some of you may know Dean Martin and some of you may not, but he was Frank Sinatra's best friend. Anyhow, yeah, but I'm not like a hardcore exerciser for me. Like I'm not really hardcore into it, but I used to be when I was much younger.
For me,
How
like
about you,
it really
Ava?
depends where I'm at in my life. For example, now I work a lot on the computer, but in my free time, I love to move. Like let it be walk, go for a walk, exercise. I love dancing. I do salsa and bachata, and I love it. So I think if you eat more fruit and vegetables, you naturally have more energy, and you naturally want to move your body. So it just comes very naturally, I think, that you just move your body and you have a lot more energy. So especially for me, I notice with cardio, let it be dancing, I can go a long time than when you compare it to people who eat a different diet, just because you eat a different way. So I think diet has a huge influence on on the way you eat. By the way, I was just thinking there's a fantastic book in the Raw Vegan Bundle. It's by Chef Ocean, and it actually explains how you can grow muscle very fast and easily with the help of a raw vegan diet. And that's super, super interesting. And I think like the raw vegan bundle in general, all of the ebooks that are in there, it's a huge thing because there are, I think, around 50 ebooks for such a minimum price. So I would really recommend if you're interested in a raw vegan diet, or like you can save yourself so much time and so many mistakes if you just buy or check out the Robin bundle and really read the books. Because yeah, because when I started Robin diet, I made lots of mistakes because I didn't have books, or I didn't have the research, the knowledge. But if you know where you can look at, then really you can save so much time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I absolutely agree. The bundle is called the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. It's only available until November 1st. You can get it at the link below, bit.ly/raw yoga retreat, or you can go to the link in my bio, or you can go to the link in Fruity Ava's bio and get it as well. Either of those three ways will get you to the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. And you get over 50 books. I think it's 55 books with
Crazy.
thousands of raw vegan recipes for only $50. But there's also an incredible amount of other books in there as well. My book is in there, Raw Yoga Retreat, which allows you to create your own at-home affordable yoga retreat. There's a book called Debunking Raw Vegan Myths, or Raw Vegan Myths
Yeah.
Debunked, I think is actually the name of it. And that's by a guy named Fruity Ronster. It's a really, really dense and incredible book about different myths that people have around raw veganism. It actually opened my eyes to things that I didn't know. Healthy Dynamic Life has a book about mindset and creating the right mindset to be a fruitarian. And there's a lot in there. There's so much information in the bundle. You definitely get your value when you get the bundle. Someone asked, do you take vitamins to help? I do not take vitamins. I've never taken vitamins. I'm not good at routine. I'm not good at anything that I have to do every day. I don't thrive in that environment, and vitamins is one of those things. So for my 47 years on this planet, I have not taken vitamins. I did take a lot of different vitamins when I had the C word. I did take a lot of vitamins at that time to help my body get over it faster. That's the only time in my life that I've had a consistent vitamin schedule. But otherwise, I take milk thistle for my blood pressure sometimes when I feel like it. But otherwise, I'm for me,
I
no.
don't
But how
actually
about
take
you,
them as
Ava?
well, but I take sometimes vitamin B12, but it's not a necessity because I got checked, I think 1 month ago, and because yeah, I just wanted to see how is my blood work, and everything was all right. So I don't see any necessity. I think if you have like a deficiency in something, then I would of course recommend to supplement in addition to eating a very healthy diet. But I don't see any reason if I'm not sufficient why to take vitamins or supplements.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, every once in a while I'll take a B12 if I
Rare
think
for
about it, but it's like
me.
I'm just not consistent with that. I don't like routine. I feel like really restricted by anything that I have to do every day. Like I just for me like life wants to be an experience. It wants to be like freedom. It wants to be trying new things, and anything that I have to commit to, I'm like, just my palms are getting sweaty now just thinking about it. Someone asked if you've tried any of the recipes
Me?
from the bundle.
Yes, I did a lot. For example,
Yeah.
there's one book that I really love so much. It's from Wendy, and it's a book about nice cream. And I love nice cream. And maybe for those of you who don't know, nice cream is basically when you blend frozen bananas, and you like really you have to check it out on YouTube or buy the Wavigan bundle and see it really becomes like ice cream. And you can create so many different textures and flavors when you add different fruit. Or my favorite recipe is actually if you just blend frozen bananas, because then because that you have the ice cream and you put it in a bowl, and then you put in the blender like bananas, dates, hot water, and a lot of berries, and then you get this amazing sauce, and you pour the sauce over the ice cream, and it's amazing. It tastes so good, so good. So like
Yeah, I was gonna say that I've made a bunch of ice
yeah,
cream recipes
it's
too.
so nice. And actually, I went. The thing is, because I'm traveling more, so I don't have a dehydrator and a food processor and a juicer because everything is at home. The only thing that I brought with me is a blender. But yeah, I'm trying out a lot of different recipes with that just need a blender, and I'm excited for that.
So watermelon lime says I do a multivitamin. I do a multivitamin because I think I need to catch up on a lot, and I don't think it will hurt me. And I just want to say, then yeah, do it. Like
Yes.
you should do what I hate the word should, like, but do what makes you feel best individually. Do not do something that I do and think that that's what you have to do. Like, whatever we've said here today that works for you, I want you to take that and do it. And whatever we've said here today that you don't resonate with or does not work for you in your life, I want you to discard it and never think about it again. We're here to be helpful to you, and if you find that something's helpful to you, it is not my place to tell you that it's not helpful. I really think that that's something that I feel pretty passionate about in our Western culture, is that we have this ideology that there is one way to be happy. There is one way to treat the body. There is one way to live life. And that is not accurate. There are many ways. There are as many ways as there are us. And I see each of us. I see Ava and I see you, Watermelon Lime, and I see myself as an incarnation of God. And we are all one. We're all God, and we're just God experiencing this planet. And however you use the word God, maybe spirit, universe, higher power, whatever it is that works for you. I just use that word because I'm comfortable with it. But I see us all as incarnations of spirit, but there's only one spirit, and we're all an incarnation of it. So that's how I feel like Ava and I are connected, and you and I are connected, Watermelon Lime, and everyone else on this live today. We're all connected. Everyone listening to this afterward, we're all connected. I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm so grateful that all our incarnations are meeting here in this way, and I'm so glad that we all get to experience this moment together, and I'm grateful for you all to be here. And I hope that something that we've said today has been helpful to you. And if not, I'm sorry that we wasted your time, but know that we love you anyway. I'm sure that you wouldn't still be here if you didn't find something helpful. So I'm always available for questions and my DM, Yoga Celebrity. I am going to upload this to my podcast. So you might be listening to this on the podcast now, or if you want to listen to the replay, you can go to my podcast. The link is in my bio, but the podcast is anywhere that they're podcasts. So if you go to Spotify or iTunes or whatever it is that you listen to, the podcast is called Yoga Celebrity. It's like a celebrity, only a yoga celebrity. I'm from Las Vegas, so that's why. Anyhow, Thank you so much, Ava, for being on this call with me today. I am really enjoyed getting to know you, and I'm excited. Hopefully someday I sail the
Cool.
Sea Angel. That's my sailboat. I hopefully sail it to the Canary Islands and stop by and
I
have
would
a
love to.
pineapple
Thank you
with
so
you.
much for
So,
also having me. It's been super, super interesting and nice. So yeah, thank you.
yeah. If you want to connect with Rudy Ava, please go to her Instagram or to her YouTube channel. Make sure that you grab your copy of the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. It is only available until November 1st. And thanks, friends. Thank you for being here. Have a
Thank
wonderful and
you.
blessed
You
day.
too. Bye
Bye,
bye.
Ava.